is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am coming at you from the Maverick in Green River, Utah, I-70, exit 160. Planned on stopping at the Love's across the way, but I didn't even realize this Maverick was here. But the Love's is about 30% full, and I am the only truck. I mean, it is only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I am the only truck in this Maverick here right now. So that does look like a good Love's. I wouldn't have had no problem parking down there, but always choosing off-brand if I can, so here we are. What I want to talk about today is trip planning for bad weather and clock management. You know, I got a load that I really wasn't all that happy about. A load picking up in Guyman, Oklahoma. Hold on a second. Let me shut this damn shade. But a load picking up in Guyman, Oklahoma, going out to Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, one thing I told my fleet manager was, you know, certain things I like, certain things I don't like. If you need me to run a load, I got your back. So he sent me a load before I got this load going out to Corinne, Utah, but I wasn't going to be able to make the one. And the next load that got sent was this load going to Salt Lake City. I wasn't that happy, but I was like, you know what? Let's just run it. So 2 things I had to think about on this trip plan. Once I saw the amount of time on the load and the weather in certain areas. So the Qualcomm, and this is a rookie mistake I would have made when I first came out on the road, was the Qualcomm was trying to take me across I-80. Right now, if I look at all the road, and I wasn't going to go there anyway, I already know, but if you look at all the road conditions, all that kind of stuff out there, they're reporting black ice, you know, all that kind of stuff, and just wasn't going to do that. Another route a lot of people would like to take, I don't mess with it. I live in Colorado. Going over I-70 in Colorado is very unpredictable. So that was out of the, that wasn't even thought about. So the next route, which a lot of people will take, would be taking the southern route into Utah, where you come up through Gallup, New Mexico, through Cortez, Colorado, and kind of that route into Utah that way. That's what I planned on doing. But one of the beautiful things about knowing so many people at this company, or in trucking in general, is I have a lot of people to draw information from. So as soon as one of my friends, Christy, heard I was taking this route, she said, "Lyle, don't go all the way down 40 to Gallup, New Mexico and do that. The play is to get off on I-25, go north to 550, make a left on I-50, and then you'll kind of get dumped off in that same area where you would normally be once you get off in Gallup, New Mexico, except a little bit further north, if that makes sense." It only saves about 30 minutes, or 30 miles, but that is such a beautiful drive. If you're on I-40, no matter what time of day or night, you're going to be dealing with a bunch of trucks, all that kind of stuff. Man, I hit that 550. I think I saw 3 trucks the entire time I was on there, until I got kind of in the city and started making my way into Cortez, Colorado and all that. So, Christy, appreciate it. That right there is a winner. And originally she had taken that route because she was trip planning for weather, and I-70, I-80 was getting hammered, I-40 was slick, and there was like this little sliver through New Mexico where the weather wasn't all that bad. Plus, you're not dealing with a bunch of truck traffic. So that's the reason she took that route last time. So anyway, as far as the hours of service go, you know, I was fortunate enough to pick up this load. I had a pickup time between 9 p.m. and 12 midnight. So my first initial thought was going to be to get out there because it was a 3-hour drive, about 180 miles. Get out there by noon, take a 10-hour break, pick up the load, start running at, between 9 and 2, and have a full clock. But I was fortunate that the load was ready when I got there. So I got out there at about 10 a.m., something like that. So now I have a few options. Now I could look at it in terms of just being leisurely, or I could look at it as to what might make sense to the future Lyle. And I looked at my load and I said, you know what? I picked up a little bit of extra time. There was about 12 extra hours on this load anyway. If I run this load hard, so instead of picking up the load and just running it out a little bit and saying I'm tired and leaving a bunch of time on my clock, what I did was I broke the load down, drove it out as far as I could, shut down to where when I get out to Salt Lake City, I'm gonna have a chance to get a 34-hour reset. I actually could have drove it out a little bit further, but I looked at some hours that I was gonna, my 70 was gonna be a little short, and I wasn't gonna pick up some of those hours till later, so I stopped a little bit shorter than I could, but stopped a ways after when I had to stop to do what I wanted to do in terms of getting this set or getting this reset. So sometimes you got to think a little bit further in advance. You got to be thinking, you know what? It's easy to say, I got all this time on this load. I'm tired. Let me just pull over and, wake up when I wake up, which no problem with that. I prefer to do it on the back end of the load. But if you're giving up hours, you're giving up money. So I took that route to run almost down to I think I had 3 hours on my clock last night when I stopped. And the only reason I stopped in was because it was an unfamiliar route to me. And I stopped Santa Rosa, New Mexico. The next place down the line might have been, it just wasn't going to matter. And I was going to get on a route that I wasn't familiar with. If I was going to be able to stop and, where there was to take breaks or to take my 10 or whatever. So I stopped a little bit short. But like I said, if I had to go a little bit further, I would have done it to do what I needed to do. All right. So anyway, that being said, I'm 3 hours away from the terminal. So my hours come back.
You have 1 hour and 1 minute of remaining drive time.
My hours come back at midnight, so I'm gonna drive from midnight and should pull into if I said Springfield earlier, that was a mistake. I'm not sure if I did or not, but I should be getting to Salt Lake City around 3 or 4 a.m. Plenty of time for me to get my 34-hour reset in and then go deliver this after that. So that's about it. Sometimes you got to think a little bit deeper, and I think, I was just talking to somebody that was coming to Prime, and he's coming out of a totally different field, and the previous profession he had, it was kind of a real thinker man's position or woman's position. And one thing I'll tell you is people that came out of industries, if you happen to be thinking about coming into truck driving and you were like in something totally outside of trucking, I think that the skills that you build, whether it be IT, in my position, banking, it could be anything where you actually need to like really think things through, those skills are going to be beneficial when it comes to trucking, because there's a lot of good truck drivers out here that just drive trucks and they don't put any thought into anything. They might get where they need to go or whatever on time, but a lot of times where the money is made in this business is in the nuance of it. So anyway, I'm gonna quit running my mouth. I need to get back here and go to sleep because I plan on getting up in 9 hours and 25 minutes. So I appreciate you stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.